Okay, we're gonna get this already started. I think. Hey, Alyssa, are you there?
It's Kwame. I see you guys and I can hear you fine.
Oh, good. All right. Is there anybody waiting to get in?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, I thought Bob Dennison was gonna join us, but I guess.
He's already in. Yeah, he's already in.
I'm in, Rennie.
Oh, I didn't see your name. Okay, got it. All right. Well, I will call this meeting of the Public Safety General Government Committee to order at 6:43. I am not Bob Dennison, clean shaven. That is him in two dimensions. But I am sitting down, taking the chair tonight in his absence. So we have three things on the agenda. The first is the update from the Climate Action Committee, emphasize action.
Except for it's a
What's going on?
Conservation Advisory Council, so I wish to say. Okay, my name's Emily Hauser, and I just want to say that what's been going on is that, you, the Common Council, and then Steve Noble passed the community reservation plan documents so that it can move ahead and go to be on the ballot in November. So that's really exciting, and from now on out, that will, for the real estate transfer tax, that will then be the promotion will be outside of the city of Kingston. It'll be other people promoting that initiative. So that's really exciting. And then we've been really busy writing letters for all the grants that the city is putting in, because we put in letters of support. So we put in one for the parking study, one for the sidewalk improvement plan, one for the waterfront local revitalization plan to be updated along with the comp plan, the walkable Foxville and swimmable Hudson. So we've been doing that, sending the letters, which anyway, so that's good. And then Summer just sent out a press release today that Kingston received $538,000 from the New York State Climate Smarts for the food waste composting. Has anyone seen that? Yeah, we saw that. Okay, so I just wanted we have not been involved in that, but we always get an update from Julie and so on. So that's really exciting that I think. And I just want to say that the state solid waste management plan almost 10 years ago emphasized how much there was organics was in the trash. And it really just takes so long to kind of get things moving so that now we can, really keep that out of the waste stream. So do you have any questions? All right, thank you.
See, sounds like action. Thank you, Emily. All right, John Schulteis, are you around? He said, speaking into the ether.
Good evening.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm well, thanks, Rennie. How are you doing?
Doing okay myself. We're interested in this proposal for reducing the citywide speed limit to 25 miles an hour. You got any information for us on that?
Sure. Well, I can give you a little background on it. I've been working both with the mayor and with the Department of Public Works on exactly how this could be implemented if the council elects to take this route. So as a little bit of background, the New York State law was recently updated, giving the city, all cities, including ours, the power to designate certain certain roads at 25 mile per hour. So under the text of the law, we still cannot do a blanket citywide 30 mile an hour speed limit. However, what I'm prepared to share with you tonight is a very short list of roads that would remain at 30 miles an hour, while the rest of the city could go to 25. And that's the basis of the mayor's proposal. I think you have the text of his letter. So having looked at this, of course, a lot of cities in various states. I was over in Massachusetts over the weekend, and a lot of cities over there are doing something similar. So if if this is proposed, we would post the city at 25 miles an hour unless posted otherwise. And then I really just have three city street segments that would remain at a higher limit, or current 30 mile an hour limit. And I'll just read what those are, because there's really just three of them. So these are streets fundamentally of kind of a rural character, and it would, in my opinion, be appropriate to keep them at 30. So this would be a Beale Street from Wilbur Avenue to the city line, Boulevard from Golden Hill Drive to the city line, and Flatbush Avenue from East Chester Street to the city line, which is a very short street segment. So other than that, there are certain other categories of streets that the Common Council can't change. Those are streets under the control of the New York State DOT, and basically there we're talking about Albany Avenue from Broadway to the city line, I-587, US Route 9W, and Wirt Street, the portion on the Wirt Street Bridge. Those are under NISDOT jurisdiction, and the city cannot make that change. And then finally, there are the school zones and a few other special speed areas, which are currently set at 15 miles an hour, and that would not be changed under this.
Great. So you already answered my question in relationship to state roads. Any questions for John?
I'm just wondering why Boulevard was selected, because it's such a well-traveled street.
Yeah. Well, it's currently posted at 30 miles an hour. I would say that in free flow conditions, people are moving 40 to 45. And one thing we don't want to do is set an inappropriate speed limit that feels out of touch to what people expect to drive. So drivers primarily select their speed using their eyes and what they see in the environment. And that's the three that I mentioned have a rural character. There are no curbs. In general, there are few or no sidewalks on those segments. And the geometry of the street with relatively few intersections means people tend to drive faster on those streets than other city streets.
But you said Boulevard would be from Golden Hill Drive out to the city limits, right? So it would be 3 miles an hour from Greenkill to Golden Hills.
Yeah, and that's about where the curbs currently end, and the sidewalks. And further, it's we're anticipating there's going to be a new traffic signal installed at Golden Hill Drive and Boulevard.
Right. So
this is kind of looking ahead to that and saying that that's an appropriate and logical place to make a speed change. And then, as you continue on Boulevard Route 32, like towards Rosendale or New Paltz, the speed limit increases to 45 and then 55.
Other questions?
Can I ask a couple of things there, Rennie?
Yeah.
First, I want to thank John. This is a workaround from the state. The state passed a law that really had a poison pill in it, and I want to congratulate John for coming up with a workaround so that we can lower the speed limit throughout the city, despite the state law. So that's, in my opinion, that's a something well done, and I want to congratulate you on that. That's first. The other piece is I understand the concern about Boulevard, but if you look at it from Golden Hill out, the piece in the city would be 25, which I think meets our needs pretty well. And the others, I think, are logical choices. And of course, the state controlled highways are the state controlled highways, and there's really nothing we can do, with that aside from lobbying them. So I want to make it clear that I support this a lot, and I think John's done a good job, and I'd like to see it put in place. So thanks.
Is there a question mark at the end of that?
No. Hey, I even get to vote on this because I did the whole thing with Andrea and the city attorney. So I'm very excited voting remotely. How cool is that?
Still only counts as one vote, though. All right, so John,
Yes.
we are ready then, right, to go with a committee report, or do we need anything else from you?
I think it's ready.
I don't have one, so I have to write one up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The mayor provided the communication, and I didn't write a committee report on this.
It's okay. I can just say, I can use some of the language here, but should I mention the 3 streets that you suggested would stay at 30, or can I just say see attached and then we'll add?
Yeah, feel free to say see attached list of streets which will remain at a higher speed limit.
Okay, just a second here. Talk amongst yourselves.
You too.
Okay, so all I've written here is adopt a 25-mile-per-hour citywide speed limit, except as noted in the attached memo. Is that all right with you, John?
Yeah, perfect. And I'll share that with the clerk and the members of this committee as soon as tomorrow.
Great. Do we have a motion to adopt?
I know. Oh, go ahead.
You all can. One can be one, one can be the second.
Go ahead, I'll second. We'll just take turns here.
All right, is there any discussion then?
No.
All right, I will just say, thank you, John, for the work you've done in this. I echo what Bob Dennison said. This was one of the first things that I brought up as an alderperson years ago. And it was so frustrating when I even went to New York State Department of Transportation meetings and talked to people, and they could not figure out what the rules were. So it became clear at some point, though, that there would really not be any way for us to do that until the recent change in the law that you mentioned. So appreciate too the fact that you've looked into this and given it thought so that we can have a clear sense of how much of the city could be under this new limit. So if there's no other discussion, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Bob Dennison?
Dennison? Of course. Just when we need it.
Bob, are you there?
Yes, I'm in favor. It's a great idea.
And do I have your permission to sign for you?
Please, I would appreciate it if you would do that.
All right. Then it passes 4-0 unanimously. Great, so we will now move on to the next item, which is a series of amendments to the code relating to traffic issues. John, there's a bunch here, so I want to ask first, are you, as far as you're concerned, if we're okay with all of this, is this ready to go, or do we need more discussion? Do you have more work to do on this?
These are in a final form. Here, if you have any questions on them.
Okay, and then if you could go through them and let us know, what the rationale is for each of the parts.
Sure. There's 3 or 4 discrete actions here, but they affect various portions of the code. So I'll try to go in order. The first is one that is currently on Broadway, just down from City Hall in front of the old hospital opposite Andrew Street. And this has to do with changing a loading zone that's kind of inappropriately located too close to a crosswalk to help daylight that crosswalk. So the first change to parking meter southeast corner City Hall relates to that, as well as under part 2, establish 30-foot no parking zone 25 feet from a crosswalk, as well as establish a loading zone on Broadway under special zones and areas. So all 3 of those subparts all relate to the same change there to metered parking and creating a loading zone, which historically was ambulette parking and still has that use, but other loading uses also.
Okay.
Backing up to the zones, establish 4 parallel parking spaces on the north side of Jansen Avenue at 2 Jansen Avenue. So these 4 parallel spaces will take the part of what were formerly angled parking, which was not permitted in the code, but the business owner had established. So this was recently striped, actually, in conjunction with a striping change on Jansen Avenue to make it safer. So I hope the council will approve this 4 parallel spaces. Other than that, Jansen is no parking, so we need to, we're specifically designating those. Moving down to part 2, Article 13 schedules, the traffic control signals. These 2 are going to be, is a traffic control signal that's going to be under construction later this year as part of our Clinton Avenue streetscape project. So Westbrook Lane, Clinton Avenue, and John Street is going to be served by a single, excuse me, new traffic signal where it's currently always stopped. Further down in the list, there is a yield condition for John onto Clinton that's going to be removed. Moving down to Schedule 9, stop intersections. Hunter at Abeal is a correction to add a stop on Hunter, which is sort of a historical relic that logical location for a stop sign did not have one. Similar condition, East Strand at Broadway, we found that last block of East Strand actually is a 2-way street, but there's no stop in the code, so this is a correction to that. Fashion Lane at Cornell Street, this adds a stop to reflect the extension of Fashion Lane to Cornell, which occurred recently. Similarly, Fashion Lane at Thomas, adding a stop sign there as a result of our recent reconfiguration of that parking lot area. Let's see, West Strand at Broadway. This also corrects a historical omission from the code. And finally, I think all the remainder I've already gone through as part of the other projects. So you really have those discrete areas: Fashion Lane, the hospital crosswalk, East and West Strand at Broadway, and then the new configuration for Clinton Avenue at Westbrook and John.
All right, questions? Carol?
Well, these are a lot of changes, and I'm going to trust that there's been sufficient study that would warrant, the removal of certain stop signs and the addition of others, but this is the first time I'm seeing it, so it's really hard for me to make a judgment.
I talked to him about it, so I'm fine with it, but
Can I chime in? This looks to me, there's two things. There's a seeker thing box on this report, and I don't know if that's necessary. I think these are ministerial changes. I don't think they're significant. I don't think they're actions that warrant a secret, examination. To me, it looks like housekeeping, and I'm okay with it. So I just wanted to. That's my 2 cents.
To me, it seems that there is a significant change, though, which is along Clinton Avenue. So what's the rationale, John, for adding traffic signals at those two intersections on Clinton Avenue,
Yeah.
the one at Westbrook and the one at John?
So thank you. I probably should have gone into more detail. Anyone who's tried to drive Clinton Avenue this week has probably been frustrated. It's been closed for sewer repairs, but that's part of a larger project that's tied to the DRI and a grant that the city was awarded about 5 years ago. So that whole corridor was studied, and the selected alternative involves eliminating the all-way stop condition that's currently at Westbrook and John, and replacing that with a traffic signal that's going to tie in the John Street, Clinton Avenue, and Westbrook Lane. And so this has been part of an engineering plan that includes a study of the intersection delay and level of service, which are terms that indicate how well both cars and pedestrians can move through a space. So we know that Clinton Avenue at times has a tendency to back traffic up, and at times has backed it up as far as the roundabout. So by upgrading the current signal at Albany and Clinton, as well as replacing the current all-way stop condition with a new signal, which will be, the two signals will be coordinated, that's going to move traffic through at a steady and predictable way, instead of the current condition, which can produce backups. And at the same time, it's going to allow us to add pedestrian push buttons. It's going to allow us to use video detection on the signals too, to respond to volumes as they vary on the various legs of these intersections.
Good.
And it's all been modeled and designed, and we're preparing to construct it.
And the cost to the city?
Right. So under the original DRI, they contemplated about a $2.4 million project. Our costs are now about a little over $3 million, with the difference being made up by some of the city's ARPA funds, as well as CHIPS funds. So it's not there's still not a impact to bonding on this project or the city's debt. So it's the plan of finance includes primarily the DOS grant at $2.1 or $2 million, plus the additional ARPA and CHIPS funds.
Okay, great, thanks.
For the work that's being proposed for Andrew Street, establish a 30-foot westbound no parking zone from the left side Broadway.
Right.
Broadway, and then add a 30-foot loading zone.
Correct. but it would be
What
spaced further.
business- I'm sorry, what business is there that,
That front's on the old hospital. That's where the city has a crosswalk installed with the flashing beacon. And as part of this, we wanted to establish a better location for the loading zone that's pulled some distance away from the crosswalk for better visibility.
Great. Any other questions? Hearing no questions, I will read, well, yeah, I'll read this. It's going to take a while. Get comfortable. From engineering, July 24. Part 2, general legislation, Chapter 390, vehicles and traffic. Part 1, parking meters. Article 1, public streets. Chapter 390-3, zones established. Add parking meters southeast corner of City Hall, north side of Broadway between WB parking spaces 1 and 2 on Broadway. Add 4 parallel parking spaces north side of Jansen Avenue at 2 Jansen Avenue. That's the market that's there. Everybody know where that is? Yeah, I didn't realize that was a thing. I parked there just yesterday. So now I know. It's like I was doing research. Part 2, so this is, as John pointed out, related to the first part. Chapter 390-58, no parking or standing at any time. Establish a 30-foot WB no parking zone 25 feet from the north-south crosswalk at Andrew Street on the north side of Broadway on Broadway. Traffic regulations, Article 7, special zones and areas, Chapter 390-65, loading zone. At a 30-foot loading zone, southeast corner of City Hall, north side of Broadway, 30 feet from north-south crosswalk at Andrews Street. Part 2, traffic regulations, Article 13, schedules, Chapter 390-84, Schedule 1, traffic control signals. Add traffic signal at Westbrook Lane and Clinton Avenue. Add traffic signal at John Street at Clinton Avenue. Chapter 390-92, Schedule 9, stop intersections. Add stop on Hunter Street at Abeale Street to create an all-way stop. Yeah, I went through there yesterday too. That's a scary spot, so that's good. Add stop on East Strand at Broadway. Add stop on Fashion Lane at Cornell Street. Add southeast stop on Fashion Lane at Thomas Street to create an all-way stop. Add northeast stop on West Strand at Broadway. Remove 3 stop signs at Westbrook Lane and Clinton Avenue because of putting a traffic light there. And same with the next, remove southbound stop sign on Clinton Avenue at Main Street. Page 2. Part 2, traffic regulations, Article 13, schedules continued, Chapter 390-93, Schedule 10, yield intersections. Remove yield sign on John Street at Clinton Avenue, which creates tons of confusion. Chapter 390-94, Schedule 11, flashing signals. Remove flashing beacons, Hunter Street at Abeale Street. Chapter 390-103, Schedule 20, loading zone. Remove WB loading zone west of north-south crosswalk at Andrews Street and Broadway. Estimated financial impact is $0 for the reasons John mentioned. Do we have a motion to approve? Motion by Gene Edwards. Do we have a second? All right, do we have any discussion? Bob, do you have anything you want to say?
Nope, I think it's fine. I think that it's, I'm in favor of it all. I think we should pass it.
Okay.
When you retire, you get to hang out with all these guys and hear all the stuff that's going on for a meeting.
All right. Hearing no discussion, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? Passes unanimously.
There was a lot of work you put into it, so it was, John really,
Yes. And by my count, that's the last item on the agenda. Unless, is there an invisible one, Bob?
Nope, that's it. You've done a wonderful job, Rennie. Thank you.
All right. In that case, I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Second, third, fourth. All right. Thank you, everyone. We are done.
Thank you. Thank you, Rennie. Thank you all.
Yep. Have fun wherever you are.
Thanks.
Can you tell us again the three exempt sections of the 25 mile an hour?
Oh,
Uh,
a Beale Street. Boulevard.
From
From the city line,
For sidewalks and.
yes, and Boulevard. And Flatbush to.
when you get out beyond 9W.
Oh, beyond 9W, oh, that's, yeah.
Oh, that highway looking section with like the
Yeah.
cobblestones in the middle?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that, not between East Chester and Foxhall, that would be 25 mile an hour, where the Foxhall Flatbush Avenue project
As
is.
I
I
understand.
believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
And in Beale Street, where was it between, and Beale, all the whole stretch of Beale?
No.
by the city lines.
It's, yeah,
Yeah.
it's the Word Street Bridge, basically.
Between the Wood Street Bridge and out to the city line?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think Beale Street is from Wilbur out to the city line by the dock, by the shipworks, by the
Yeah.
boat works out that end, not the end in the city.
Like,
Those are state roads.
is that just?
No, the other direction. The other direction.
Those go into the state roads, that's why you said we
Yeah.
couldn't do nothing with that.
Going out toward Eddyville. Okay, so Wilbur out toward Eddyville.
Okay.
Right, yeah,
Line was right there.
Word Street Bridge is state, so we
Oh,
can't.
right, Wood Street Bridge, right. But it's 30 miles on either side, so it doesn't much matter. They're not going to change the speed limit on Wood Street Bridge, you know.
Yeah. Although that could be fun.
It could be fun.
All right, and then Albany Avenue is a state road, so we can't change that one.
Don't fool around with that one, right?
Okay, got it?
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any idea how it's gonna be implemented and what the implementation date is gonna be?
No, not yet.
Okay, yeah. Because
So, 'cause-
Albany has got an implementation date kind of set, so it's just wondering. I don't know how, John didn't really make it clear what method they're gonna use to implement too, so I'm kind of curious.
You mean the 25 mile an hour speed limit? Yes, so the first thing is that DPW has to redo the sign. Unfortunately, from what we understand, they'll actually be able to reuse all of the current signs.